let's work with some integers. Starting with number 7. I wrote these on scrap paper because, as often is the case these days, the paper doesn't have enough room here to show all the work, or to do all the work rather. So number 7, I copied it exactly. We're simply multiplying. I started to multiply, and then I realized that I can cross-reduce. So I'm going to reduce each by 2. This is 1, this is 3. Now, you don't have to cross-reduce on the others if it's confusing to you. You can just multiply it straight across and reduce afterwards, but it's better to cross-reduce first. So now I have 5 times 1, which is 5, and 3 times 3, which is 9. I have a negative times a negative, so that becomes positive. That was actually a lot easier than I thought. So 5/9. Number 7 is 5/9. Let's look at number 9. Once again, I copied it exactly. The first thing that we need to do is square the negative 1/2. So that's like this. 1/2 times negative 1/2 times negative 3. There. Now I'm going to multiply these. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative times negative is positive. So negative 1/2 times negative 1/2 is positive 1/4 times negative 3. What I'm going to do is just simply put that over 1 like that, so I can multiply straight across. Because you can't multiply a fraction with a whole number. So 1 times negative 3 is negative 3 over 4 times 1 is 4. So my final answer is negative 3/4. On to number 10. As you remember, as you see, I copied it as before. Before I can multiply, I've got to convert this to an improper fraction. So this will be 5 halves times negative 1/5. Oh look, I can cross reduce. 5. That becomes 1, that becomes 1. This is great. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. I have a positive times a negative, so that makes this negative. Number 10 is negative 1/2. Let's go on to the last one that we'll do together, or the last two that we'll do together, 19 and 20. 19 right here. I copied it exactly. 12 divided by negative 1/3. Let me first write this out as two fractions. Hope I don't run out of room. I'm going to try to write this small, maybe smaller than these lines. 12 over 1 divided by negative 1/3. Now I've got to convert this to multiplication. So it becomes 12 over 1 times negative 3 over 1. And I can't cross-reduce on this, so I've got to multiply straight across. 12 times 3 is 36. 1 times 1 is 1. We have a positive times a negative, so that makes this negative. We've got negative 36 wholes, which simplifies as negative 36. 19 is negative 36. And finally, number 20. All right, we will start with the exponents. I'm actually going to go, for the first step, I'm going to go from here to here, and then I'll come down. I'm not sure if I have enough room if I go straight down. So this becomes 2 times negative 30 squared. So negative 30 times negative 30. Well, negative times a negative is positive. So it's going to be positive. 30 times 30 is 900. And on here, we've got 20 squared. There, it's positive. 20 times 20 is 400. I don't need the parentheses. I'm just going to get rid of it now. Minus 60. Now, this is a grouping and this is a grouping. Remember, a fraction bar is one way to show grouping. So I'm going to work on this grouping and this grouping together, at the same time, not together. So in this next step, I will put that together and I will combine that. So 2 times 900 is 1800 or 1800 over 400 minus 60 is 340. Now, I've got a lot of work I need to do with this. I am definitely not finished. The easiest and most obvious thing I can do is reduce them both by 10. So that will get rid of the 0. So now I have 180 over 34. Let's see. 8 plus 1 is 9, so 3, 6, and 9 go into that one. 3 plus 4 is 7. Oh, never mind. I know they're both even, so I'm going to reduce them both by 2. Divided by 2, divided by 2. Let's see, 2 goes into 18, 9. So 180 divided by 2 is 90. 34 divided by 2 is 17. This is now an improper fraction. So let me turn my paper over, and I'm going to solve this. And I will write it in fraction form because I'm working with fractions. It's still correct if you do decimal form. So if you are more comfortable converting into decimal than fraction, it's fine. Either one is correct. But since this page is about fractions, I will decide, I'm going to put it in fraction form. So I've got 90 divided by 17. Well, I don't know. Let's see, 17 times, okay, let me think of 24. So it's going to be around 5 maybe? I'm going to try 5. I'm pretty confident, so I'm going to just go ahead and multiply it out. 5 times 3, 7. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 6, 7, 8. Yep, all right, I was right. I thought I was. Subtract and get 5. 90 minus 85 is 5. If you need to regroup and all, you can do that. And so I'm going to put this in fraction form, so I'll write it as a mixed number. And I've got 5 left over. So my final answer is 5 and 5/17. Let me turn that over. Here's my work for number 20. Equals 5 and 5/17. All right. Go ahead and finish. Remember that, notice in here that all of these are fractions. The integers, either you've got whole numbers or fractions, you don't have decimals. So anytime that you have to divide it out, I would suggest putting it in, well, fraction form. You know what? Let's look at 15, 16, and 17. I want to do those together. I just noticed those might be some that I could explain to you. You probably don't quite know what you're supposed to do with those. Let me go ahead and show you. This is really easy. Actually, extremely easy. You have -1 divided by -2, or -1 over -2, -1/2, whichever. Basically, this is positive. A negative divided by a negative is positive. So you go from here to here. 16 and 17, I can do together because they're pretty much the same. You've got 3 divided by -4. Well, that means you've got a -3/4. You've got -3 divided by 4. Well, that also means you have a -3/4. That's all you do. It's just showing you when you do work and you end up with this for an answer, what does that mean? Well, it means 1/2. Or if you solve one of the things we did today, and your final answer is 3 over -4, well, that's -3/4, and the same with that. So now you understand what they want you to do here. That was probably confusing. Everything else is pretty obvious.